Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome to Dune Spice Wars. This is a sort of real-time strategy, sort of 4X-y game from Shiro, the developers of Northgard. And if you're familiar with Northgard, it's very much that thing, but Dunified. There are a lot of leaps forward in the design, but it really is a lot of the systems from Northgard at its heart. And I love Northgard. I've played Northgard on the channel many times, so of course I was a total pushover for this. I'm not super familiar with the Dune, like the underlying property. I've never read any of the books, but you know, I know the amount about it that you pick up through like cultural osmosis, just kind of like hanging out in nerdy circles your whole life. And obviously it's leaning very heavily on specifically the IP of the recent and upcoming films, which is why it has the font treatment that makes it look like the name of the game is Dunk. So you're going to see stuff that you're familiar with if you've seen the movie. So without any further ado, because there is a lot to talk about, we're going to get in here. We're going to be playing today a Battle for Arrakis, a medium game with up to 4 factions, battling and scheming for the control of the northern hemisphere of Arrakis. Now, I have played like one full game of this. I am still pretty new to a lot of the systems, and for the record, I did lose that game. So there's going to be a lot of learning as a group as we get in here. The game comes with 6 factions by default. I don't know how many of these are factions that are like important in the books or whatever. I only recognize, you know, Atreides, Harkonnen, and the Fremen myself. And I was a little bit disappointed to find out that House Ordos, my favorite faction to play from the Genesis RTS game of my childhood, turns out not to really be a real Dune house in the first place. It's kind of a thing that Westwood made up, sort of kind of out of pieces of stuff from a dubiously canon Dune encyclopedia. That's a whole weird story. But I think for today, let's just go House Atreides, sort of straight down the middle. Not exactly the Mario of the game, but, you know, simple enough. So there are a lot of bonuses and differences to each of the factions. This does not even describe it all because each faction seems to have slightly different units, and also there are tech tree changes and stuff that are, again, very Northgard in their execution. But the simplest stuff here is most factions can only take over neutral villages by violence. We can do that, but we also have peaceful annexation as an option. Other factions lose no authority from treaties with us. That's okay. That encourages other people to be more peaceful with us because authority is a very valuable resource. Factions lose more Lansraad standing when breaking truces with us. And there is this resource called hegemony. It's important for a lot of reasons. Mostly it's one of the ways that you win the game. And when we reach certain thresholds of that, we'll unlock additional bonuses for our faction. Again, this is another idea that's like straight out of Northgard, right? In addition to your faction selection, each faction has 4 counselors that modify the faction's abilities further. As far as I can tell, it seems like each one has 2 that are marked easy and 2 that are marked hard. We're going to be playing the easy ones for House Atreides today. It's Gurney Halleck and Duncan Idaho. Again, if you've seen the movies, you know these fellas. So Duncan Idaho produces 2 authority for each allied siege and reveals a siege that already kind of likes us at the start of the game. And Gurney gives our military units additional power after reaching max level, as long as we keep gaining XP, so we get to essentially level up our units more than everybody else, and our units get more armored as they level up. So we're just gonna roll like that and dive right in here. So it's a game with a lot of systems, and there are 5 victory conditions that are all progressed to in different ways. There's a lot of plates spinning, a lot of things to keep your eye on. And it is real time, but a big benefit of playing single player against the AI here is that we are going to get to pause the game a lot to look at things. So let's just go ahead, pause for a moment, and come to grips with some of the basic concepts that we're seeing here. There's a lot of resources up along the top of the tree here, screen here. We have our friendly siege that we've detected already. It is full of warriors, very difficult to defeat a siege in combat. If we trade them some water, they'll trade us some plascrete, which is the resource that you use to build buildings. I'm going to go ahead and click this button. I'm going to start trading. As we trade with them, we'll gain relation naturally when we get this number to 100 and have the siege inside of our territory. We can ally with them for some kind of further bonus. These ones improve our spying ability in a couple of different ways. That's cool. I'm into that. And incidentally, the siege is right next to a spice deposit. Okay, so that's all stuff we're going to talk about in a second here. Tiles. This is a real-time strategy game, but it's not just an open map. It's played over a series of large tiles. You can see, we can see about half of the tile that siege is on. Our own starting tile with our home base on it is right here, Arrakis. In order to be able to interact with the tiles around us, we have to scout them. And to scout them, we use ornithopters. So I'm going to send an ornithopter over here because I want to reveal the area around the spice that we know is to our northeast. We're going to need that spice. Again, if you're familiar with Dune at all, you know the spice, it's important. People have strong feelings about whether or not it should flow. We're going to additionally start building another ornithopter right away. Wars are won by the people who have the most intel, generally speaking. We need to know a lot more about the surface of the planet than we do right now. We're also going to start recruiting military units. So every faction has roughly 7 roles of military units, it seems like. But the actual units that fill those roles are different in ways that are sometimes pretty meaningful. For today, we're just going to focus on our simplest units. The Trooper here is a melee unit. That's 18 power, 5 armor, 400 health. It takes up 4 of our command points. You can see our army size is quite limited. Over the course of the game, we can expand this value. And Troopers gain extra power for each bonus that they're receiving from an allied unit. And then our basic ranged unit, a little bit less powerful, but also a little bit less expensive. And allied military units that are attacking the ranger's target get a power bonus. So it triggers the extra bonus on the Trooper. I'm just going to build one of each. So that resource that they're spending there is the little white person symbol in the red circle. That's manpower. We do not have a ton of manpower to start with. Getting this number up is going to be pretty important pretty quickly. Just to go over these resources really fast, Solari is money. Plascrete is what buildings are made out of. Manpower is how you recruit troops. And also crew other things. Fuel cells are a little bit more advanced, but they're most of the highest tier military units and buildings are locked behind fuel cell production. So we'll have to find a place where we can make fuel cells eventually. Water, of course, is tremendously important for your units to be able to live on the surface of the big-ass desert planet. We'll talk about exactly how later. Authority is your expansion resource. In order to take over new tiles, you have to spend authority, so getting your authority production up is pretty important. Lansraad standing, which is not even going to talk about right now. Guild favor, that's a concern for later. Over here is our hegemony score. It's important to keep an eye on everybody's hegemony, both to know when they're unlocking their faction powers, and also because if you get to 30,000 hegemony, you instantly win the game. Really important thing to keep an eye on. There are, of course, also the traditional RTS-type victory conditions. If you just kill somebody, obviously they are out of the game, and once you've killed all your opponents, you win. There's also a political victory and an economic victory with the spice market. None of those systems are even open at this point in the game. We're going to unpause things and just let it run here. That said, I am going to run it at a little bit above base speed. We'll be playing at 1.5x with a lot of pausing is how I like to do it. So you can see here our troops are getting built at home base. Here is our first village. The ornithopter is doing its thing and revealing the region for us. We are gonna set this thing to auto recon now. Go find stuff out. Actually, you know what? Auto recon's fine, but find out what the deal is with this sector next. I want to know about where Ubni is in case we want to just take this over right away. So it also revealed a point of interest. We'll worry about it later. For right now, what we're doing is we're going to take this thing over. We can claim it peacefully at a cost of the same amount of influence that it takes to take it over violently, and also, the same amount of authority, and also some of this resource over here called influence, which is one of the 2 political resources, because surprise, there's even more resources over on this panel, and stuff that we haven't even looked at yet. We'll get to it all. But One of the big downsides of this is that you can see annexation time 10 days. It takes like hours, in-game hours, to do it the violent way. It's a big difference. And also, influence is really valuable. You definitely want to hold on to that. So this village has 2 militia units defending it. They're both just ranged units. We're going to roll them. It's going to be a trivially easy battle. So let's wait till our melee unit gets in place. So you can see whenever a ranged unit is being attacked by a melee unit, it suffers significant penalties here. It only deals half of its damage with its melee attacks. It doesn't get to pick targets. Makes our life really easy. Okay. So we'll figure all that stuff out. When this goes down, our troops are going to surround it and put it under siege, and we're going to have the option of what we want to do with it. Or rather, most factions would have an option what they want to do with it. We can only annex it. Yeah, 0.3 days. Rad, do that. But most factions have the option to just like pillage the place for resources and then run home. That's not how the Atreides deal with the natives of Dune. We've decided. Okay, so now that we have control of the city, the village, we have control of the tile that it's on. This is how control of areas works in the game. You gotta grab the villages, which are built on these nice sort of rocky plateaus, because, you know, it's not super safe to be out on the sand for long periods of time. So the building has a number of building slots available, up to 6, I believe. You can build a couple of things in it, and then you have to start paying expansion costs, and it gets very expensive in terms of plascrete. It has militia slots, so you can add defensive units to the city should it get attacked by somebody else. And each village has traits. So, okay, just bonus XP for all my military units is cool. Also, we get 50% of this village's plascrete production as Solari. That's interesting. I probably won't set up a plascrete factory here for reasons that'll become clear later. But I suppose we could. This village doesn't really have anything special going on. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. So a plascrete factory here will be 10 plascrete and also 5 Solari. That's not bad. You can see it has a cost in plascrete, an upkeep to be paid in Solari. So it's not even really paying itself off. Yeah, the plascrete factory is a particularly expensive building. Maybe that's not a good idea. You know what we'll do? We'll just build one of these manpower producing buildings. Like I said, manpower is pretty important. It's not super important where you place the buildings around the village, I don't think. Not usually. You'll see there'll be a couple exceptions. And I'm not going to bother reinforcing it with militia. Right now our territory is really small, and if something were to happen, we'll have time for our army to run over and play defense. Also, now that we've unlocked a village, we have unlocked the developments menu. That is our tech tree, or rather our 4 tech trees, 4 tiny little tech trees. The factions all have roughly the same sort of like skeleton, the same shape to their tech trees, but anywhere that you see our faction banner in the top left, that's a spot where the usual tech there has been taken out and replaced with something that is specific to our faction. So local community gives us access to some slightly different buildings in exchange for a smaller amount of plascrete production than the other factions get. I'm going to stay focused on expansion here for the moment. So let's go local dialect studies, lower the authority cost to annex villages, because authority is hard to come by. And that'll research over time according to the rate of income of knowledge that we have here. What did it say? 4 days remaining? Yeah, that's not too bad. Whew, okay. I think we're going to start moving our troops. Well, okay, we're going to hang out near the village for a second so that we can get replenished. You'll notice our manpower is actually like really bad right now. That is because we are refilling the health of our units from the manpower supply. Once their supplies and then health bar are refilled, this number will pop back up to a positive value.
We are ready.
And I see no reason to wait. Let's just go. Ooh, okay. Larwan has 3 defensive units for one thing. That's a concern. Two melee and a ranged. And what's the deal with this place? Okay, buildings are cheaper to build here and gain 100% of the village's water production as Solari. Yo, I like that very much. I forgot to turn on the labels that indicate things about the regions. Oh, our second one of these is built. Let's just turn that on. You know what? I'm going to even build a third one. Maybe this is too aggressive. I think I'm also going to produce some more military units real fast. Oh, right. This is a spice region. What am I thinking? Hold on. There'll be time for this. Yeah, confirm. Give me my resources back. I'm being ridiculous. The refinery. The reason we took this region over is because it has spice. This is a good omen for how straight I'm going to be able to keep everything in my head. So we're going to build a refinery so that we can capture some of that spice, you know, for all the money and everything. Here, we have discovered a water cellar caravan. So these points of interest on the map, you can either send military units to them to interact with them in one way, or you can use your agents, effectively your espionage units, to interact with them to a different outcome. I would love to know where there's another siege, actually. Let's just back you guys up, and the troopers can go and talk with the locals and see about learning some things about the map. And we'll wait until our other units are produced to go and get Larwan. It seems like we could use a little bit more muscle. This region is bigger and has a couple of other points of interest in it. I'm curious to see what these are. Okay, this region has minerals in it to increase the value of the plascrete factory. Does the village play nice with that? Plus 10% resources from pillaging. Okay. That's a shame. It doesn't really lean into the that anymore. Alright, reveal me another siege. No, I know that one. Here we go. Shamur, down to the south of us. They would trade water for knowledge. And when allied, they make our wardens not cost as many command points. That's interesting. I've never seen that bonus before. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the game. We're going to be seeing a lot of stuff I've never seen before. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to trade them some water for the bonus knowledge. So we're down to only 10 water. It is a thing to keep an eye on. We'll get to it. Oh, this region has rare elements. We can build a processing plant here and produce even more money. It is actually pretty valuable.
Yes.
All right, new military units. You get out there and do some recon.
Awaiting orders.
Y'all get up here and join up.
Yes.
Let's go say howdy. And also get some new developments going. So, we have the reduced authority cost to annex. Let's see here. Bonus knowledge per controlled village. That's obviously pretty good. Oh, the game's not paused behind this menu. I should remember to do that. Bonus authority from agents that are in Arrakis information. And minus authority cost to annex villages in a region with a revealed siege. You know, we are going to be dealing with this village before this research would finish. I think our water stocks are dipping a little bit. Let's head up to the yellow area and pick up some texts that have to do with that. So roughly the breakdown is yellow is about the yellow texts are about your own resource incomes. The red texts are about military stuff. The sort of like bluish purple ones are about espionage, and the green ones are about dealing with Arrakis and the natives. So we're going to pick up a local community, which will get us a little bit of plascrete production and the ability to produce a couple of kinds of buildings. And we're going to go do this. We're going to handle this thing. Also, our first harvester is finished. So we're going to go ahead and just hit deploy on this. You don't have to manually run the harvesters to the spice or anything. A carryall will come down and fly it over and drop it in the field. We are going to grab one of our ornithopters, who's not doing anything important, you, and attach it to this thing. So this has a couple of effects. First of all, it increases the spice gathering rate of the harvester by a small amount. But secondly, ornithopters are good at detecting sandworms from a distance, because of course the sandworms are gonna have feelings about the harvesters out in the spice fields. So we need to be very wary about worm sign and react to it quickly so that we can get our harvesters out of there before they get eaten by the sandworms. So having an ornithopter attached to your harvester makes that a lot easier. I'm gonna pull this ranged unit back a little bit. Please don't lead the attack. You two, focus on the ranged. Okay, yeah, we're crushing them. These are not professional military units, you know? Okay, so the harvester's at work, and that means we now have spice income. So now we have to worry about this stuff up here. The bar here allows us to adjust how much of our dust income we are selling to the market immediately, trading 1 spice for 2 Solari directly, and how much we are stockpiling for the Imperial quote-unquote taxes that will come around every now and then. This is a bribe. It's very openly a bribe to the Imperium, and the game will usually refer to it as a bribe. The Emperor expects his cut, and if he doesn't get it, he can get a little ornery. So we're just going to adjust this. There we go. In 15 days, when the Imperials come around, we will have 91 spice for them, which exceeds the 80 that they are looking for. That ought to do it. Let's get back to the thing. So, we got a couple of ornithopters still exploring the surface of the planet. We have taken this village, or at least we will have soon enough. Now, the siege in this region does not love that. We probably took a hit to our relation level there a little bit that you don't take if you do a peaceful annexation, obviously. But again, resources, valuable. Okay, now that this is done too, we should probably get that manpower building up like I was saying. I know, water's looking a little bit low. Alright, as soon as this is clear, okay, all of a sudden we're all healing up. So we want to do some water production in this village probably. And also, of course, there is the rare elements. So let's start with that. Let's build ourselves a... Where is it? Here we go. A processing plant. 20 Solari production from the rare elements in the earth. And then we'll do a water building afterward, probably. All right, look around. What do we got over here? Ooh, we could dismantle this and bring home a lot of building resources. That is actually a lot relative to what we're producing right now. That really is a lot. Go get it. Also, we gotta move on our development research. So where we're going here is filtration systems. Once we have this, we can build wind traps, which allow us to make water out of the wind in the various areas. That's what this label in the middle of the region is, how strong the wind is there. So yeah, we're looking for like 5s and 6s ideally. I mean, we definitely want to take Hanma over pretty soon. This will probably be our next target, and this is a great place to build a wind trap in addition to being a great place to build a plascrete factory. That's probably what the army is doing next. Right, so in order to get there, we have to go through urban planning, which unlocks some more kinds of buildings and also trade agreements with the other players. We haven't even started thinking about the other players yet. We'll get there. I'm gonna build another ornithopter, actually. You're allowed to have up to 5 ornithopters running at once, and I feel better when I have more information, you know? Operating in the dark is scary. We've recruited our first agent. Hey, check this out. More systems. So this is the espionage window here. We get new agents every so often. I actually don't know what factors contribute to your agent recruitment speed. Okay. But Abi here has the trait Intendant and produces plus 20% of field resources. That's pretty rad. So you can assign your agents to work in a bunch of different fields of espionage, gathering information about what's going on Arrakis, or with the Spacing Guild, or with the Choum, which is their name for the interplanetary spice market, and I don't know why, and I don't know what it stands for. or the Lansraad, which is like the overarching political body of the Empire, I think, or the other players. You can research the other players and learn things like the rough locations of their borders and things like that. I'm going to devote Abby here to Arrakis. Agents assigned here improve our amount of intel, which is obviously the espionage resource, and also our amount of authority, which is great. And agents assigned to the surface of Arrakis can be used to interact with points of interest, like we saw earlier. So, for example, where's one that we'd want to do that with? I kind of want to do this with a military unit. We might not have found a point of interest that I really want to assign an agent to yet, but some of them, sometimes they yield pretty good stuff. Here, we could just patch up this ornithopter with somebody. I'm going to have somebody run out there and do that. Please do that. We will repair that and use that for a while. Okay. So we don't have a point of interest for her right now, but she is still generating authority for us, which is fantastic. All right.
We are ready.
Drag home some building resources. And how are we doing on... Okay, it is going to cost 41 authority to annex this region. We have way more than enough. So as soon as our troops are feeling healthy and no longer engaged, we will get right on that. Alright, these regions are building stuff.
Ready.
Get ourselves another ornithopter. Alright, let's run down here and capture Hadma. So, one of the main things that water does for you is it determines exactly how much supply is in each unit's orange supply bar. Your units expend supply whenever they're traveling the desert outside of your territory. Like, you can see how quickly this is depleting. 8 is not a lot. 8 does not give you a lot of range. In fact, this is so bad, I'm going to have them report back to here and refill at Arrakis before we go to Hadma. 8 is really low. That's on me. I have allowed that to happen. Let's build a dew collector. You know, even though wind here is like incredibly low, a wind trap is still going to do a better job. We might want to just wait a second. I guess wind traps have twice the upkeep. Yeah, whatever. Build a dew collector. We can always just build a wind trap as well once we get the technology for it. Alright, yeah, water's bad. We know about this siege. Construction is complete on some buildings. So you can see once we have enough resources, or once we have all the building slots full, we can purchase additional building slots at an escalating plascrete cost in case there are other things that we feel we desperately need. We probably will end up building a plascrete factory here, just not probably right this second. Money is still fairly critical. Yeah, so how much water your empire is bringing in has a huge effect on the sort of the offensive range of your units.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We'll let everybody refill here. As you can see, the bars are slowly refilling. This region has resources that we can use to construct a fuel cell factory. That's really important eventually. Ooh, more spice. Hell yeah. Okay. And this siege we have hit 100 relations with. So, we can gain this Fremen agent bonus, but to do so we have to assign one of our espionage units to the siege. I'm not going to do it right now because I think the authority bonus that we're currently getting is too important. We'll handle it though eventually.
Attack!
All right, do the attack from here. We finished our first attack and are headed toward the wind traps now. And yeah, you can see how you can like just very quickly burn through all of your. Here, one of the melee units should run over and interfere with the ranged. You can see how quickly you can burn through your supplies of authority. Like, we're already out of authority and not able to take over Phasek just yet, even though I do want it right now. Alright, grab that. Imperial tax is due soon. We're just fine on that. And it's time for the first Lansraad Council vote. So, the political window opened by clicking on this button. Every so often, every certain amount of game time, and I don't know what that value is, the Lansraad Council will put forward 3 proposals to be voted on. Sometimes the votes will be things that affect all factions, like all factions gain a bonus to the completion of military developments, those technology type things. And obviously our votes there are just yay or nay. But also sometimes it'll be like targeted factions. You can put somebody up for a worse exchange rate in the markets to harm them, or things like that. Eventually, people who have enough Lansraad standing and meet some secondary condition can be voted into these charter positions that give them powerful benefits. And the most powerful benefit that is not listed here is that holding a charter makes you eligible for governorship. If you get voted into the governorship and you hold that position for 30 days without interruption and nobody kills you, you win the game. That is one of the ways to win the game. That is how I lost the game that I played. Was one of the AI factions managed to pull that off. We vote with a combination of 2 different resources here. First of all, we have the votes that we are entitled to as members of the Lansraad Council. We and House Harkonnen and House Carino, 2 of our enemies up here, are members of the council, and we have our votes. And then there's a bunch of minor houses that have a whole lot of voting power that seems very difficult to predict. The smugglers, as a not really political faction, aren't actually part of the council, and they don't have any votes. You may also spend... So you get your votes for free every new council event. You also can spend influence, each point of influence as though it was a vote. So effectively, we have like 190 votes that we could cash in here. Just about the same as everybody else has, because, we all have the same crummy resource incomes early in the game. I don't really have any strong feelings about this stuff. We're not going to spend any influence here, but we have 100 votes. We may as well use them. Let's say, screw you, House Harkonnen. I'm going to put 100 votes into they should get worse rates at the market. Let's make an enemy, shall we? It's a competitive game, Everybody else has to lose for me to win. Okay, ornithopters are ornithopting. All of our buildings are up. We should probably go ahead and commit the building slot here. We're pretty far off of having the wind trap available. I kind of want to just build more stuff here because this is a nice, efficient area to get resources. This region has a special observatory mountain, so we'll probably want to take that over. This region has a space wreck in it. Okay, I think we're going to build a maintenance center, which reduces the Solari upkeep of buildings in this region and also all of our regions that are touching it. It's adjacent to a lot of stuff. Eventually, this will be really good value, and it's nice to put it down here in the place that has the super cheap buildings, Okay, we've got proper control of Hadma. Let's zoom in here and grab that Plascrete factory. And what would be the influence cost of Fasik at this point? 65, or the authority cost, rather. That's not that far off.
Yes, sir.
Somebody should go and grab this. You get 117 intel here for spending on operations, which is another system that we haven't even talked about.
We're focused.
Do y'all have a ranged and melee and 2 ranged? Okay. Alright, so a trade request has come in from House Carino. What do they want to do?
Make it worth my time.
They want to establish a non-aggression pact and give us a little bit of Plascrete and some of their influence in exchange for kind of a lot of money, actually. I'm going to decline because I'm trying to hang on to 1,000 Solari and 500 Plascrete for reasons that you'll see soon. Going to a non-aggression pact, of course, means that we can't attack and siege each other's stuff. Also, the Lansraad Council likes it when people play nice, and so after every council vote, as long as your truce is active, you gain standing with the Lansraad, which is important for holding those, for getting access to those charter positions. But I still think I'm going to decline this for now. I'm not super concerned about that. We are seeing House Carino probes or ornithopters, so they are nearby. Ooh, okay, here's a good thing. I'm going to assign our agent to study this crash shuttle and derive what military technology we can from it, because this is a reduction in the time of accomplishing or researching a development. So this will accelerate one of our red techs. Tech acceleration, I think, is a pretty valuable reward. There was also quite a lot of Solari there if we wanted to just scrap and salvage the thing.
Focus fire.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the right move is. This is the move I'm making. Over here, we have a wrecked harvester. Oh, hold on. We got incoming.
Received.
Remember how I said I wasn't going to bother to build any militia? Well, this is what happens when you don't do that. Sometimes you have to remember to run some guys over to do a thing. Okay, so we paid the Imperial tax. Next time around in 24 days, they want 218, 3 times as much. So let's just adjust our spice flow a little bit here to make sure we're going to be okay. And we've reached 2,500 hegemony. The two major things that you do to earn hegemony, especially in the early game, are 1, pay your spice tax. Every time you do that, you can see we got 1,000 hegemony for that. And number 2 is expand. Every region you control is worth a bunch, and every region that has one of these special unique traits in it is worth extra, as you can see there. So for hitting 2,500 hegemony, we have unlocked the ability to build stuff in our capital. This is what I was saving all these resources for. The capital is split into a couple of different districts here. You can see we have 3 districts that can contain 1 building each, 2 districts that can contain 2 buildings each, and 1 district that can contain 3 buildings. Filling out districts with buildings of the same type gives you access to different levels of economic bonuses here. So filling out districts with yellow buildings will give us more money. With red buildings will give us bonuses to our military units. And with blue buildings will give us espionage flavored bonuses. So I would like to, I think, get this 3 building region filled up with yellow buildings so that we can get this plus 10% money output. I think that's going to be real valuable over the course of the whole game. And we've unlocked a couple of yellow buildings for our capital right now. This one increases authority production, so, you know, obviously, better to get it early. And all of the buildings in the capital require 1,000 Solari and 500 Plascrete. They are great big civics projects. So let's just commit to that right away. Very strong feelings about that. Okay, the Lansraad Council vote is going on. Okay, it's just about to occur. We'll see how that runs. Did I crew our harvester? No, I totally spaced. Okay. Harvesters can also be crewed. Put more bodies on the harvester, it gets more spice. Crewing it costs manpower, of course. Easy.
Yes.
All right, yeah, just this very short trip across a single region was almost more travel than they could bear. We really gotta get our water under control. Okay.
We're focused.
Cleaned up. Everybody get inside. Get inside the borders of the city. Get your water. Refill. Okay, so the results of that council. So non-faction information levels cannot be lower than 2. A lot of positive votes for that one. So now all of the information levels are up. That's an espionage thing. We'll look at it in a second. Everybody researches military developments more quickly. Also got voted up. That's interesting. And a reduction in the spice exchange rate for House Harkonnen did pass. A lot of the minor houses felt that we should suffer, but just enough of them joined in that it's House Harkonnen who takes the hit. Cool, good, awesome. So, red stuff. Research is faster. Let's get a little bit of red stuff. This first one unlocks the ability to customize our unit's equipment, which I think is valuable in the long term. And also, now that we've got Larwan available again, I would like to, like I was saying, build a wind trap here, even though it's going to be kind of a crummy wind trap, because in addition to being a wind trap, it is providing us Solari. All right, as soon as their supplies refill a little bit, we're going to go and grab ourselves a second spice deposit. You can probably adjust this value down a little bit. There we go. So apologies to, the people in the audience who are actually good at the game, who might, be able to tell that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm doing kind of a crummy job. We'll get there. I'm learning. So, espionage. Let's talk a little bit more about espionage. First of all of our non-guild or non-opponent information levels have been set to at least 2. I don't 100%. I know at the very least, information levels serve as prerequisites for some of the kinds of operations you can run. So I think it's doing that for us. Yeah, you can see like we'd have at least level 1 information on the Spacing Guild in order to perform a supply drop operation, which allows us to just give supply, refill the orange bar of our units in the field and stuff like that. I'm going to set up a couple of operations here. Let's spend 50 of our intel getting some probes set up so that we can reveal a region on the map. And actually, with all of the trouble our units are having with supplies, let's get a supply drop going as well. That's another 100 intel. Right now, our intel income rates are pretty bad, but they'll get better eventually. Okay, some of them are taking kind of a roundabout way over to that. Whatever, they're going to get there. We discovered a crashed spaceship. Interesting.
We are ready. At your service,
All right,
sir.
make sure we're harassing their ranged units with our melee units. You can see this ranged unit is rapidly losing HP, even though it's not being fired on, because it ran out of supplies on the run. I might be not taking the water seriously enough.
Agreed.
Let's let that melee unit get pulled by my melee unit. Okay. Little sloppy here. So some not great work being done. What do I want to do with you? Knowledge global production is increased by 5% per information level. Okay. Is that per information level on the thing he's assigned to, or for all information levels? Let's see here. Manpower intel, Solari intel, influence intel. This is a 50% increase in our total influence output. Yeah, that's not bad. So 5% bonus knowledge per information level would still not read very high because, yeah, we're getting like a 20% bonus to a 5. Our values just aren't high enough for percentage bonuses to matter very much. Also, we finished our survival training. More command point, reduction in regeneration costs, so the amount of manpower we pay into healing units. Unlocks the command post in Arrakis. Mechanized support drones might be nice. Might be. I actually don't have any idea. Wow, all of my that's very embarrassing. You guys, fucking supply is serious. Take water seriously. A lesson learned. I did not have any of that happen in my first game, I'll tell you. Okay, point of interest investigated. Let's take that tech bonus. So you can see here, we can get Lansraad standing if we recover this spaceship with military units. But I think we're gonna save that for that. Let's send our agent off to grab. What else is around here? Ooh, yeah, reveal another siege. It's gonna take 8 days to do that, but we'll get there. Also, oh yeah, sand disruptions. All right, recall that harvester. So you might notice there is an enable auto recall button here. Harvesters in auto recall mode will produce less spice, but they will come back home automatically when they see a sandworm. I feel like this is a thing you can do manually, right? So the carryall comes down and just scoops it up and gets it out of there, and you wait until the sandworms come back. There is no auto redeploy. We will always have to manually redeploy the thing when the worm sign is passed. So, the process involves your attention anyway, no matter what. You may as well just leave it on manual the whole time if it's going to result in the largest amount of total resources. Okay, Arrakis has finished its construction, and we're not too far off of the next one. Sandworm is gone, and we can redeploy here. And we've almost got the resources to... Oh, FASEC has rebuilt its whole militia already. Well, that's embarrassing for me.
Yes.
So we're not going to have enough militia to rebuild completely, nor are we going to have enough militia enough manpower to crew the harvester that we're going to build over here. And that's with us having a manpower building up. Okay, plus resource production from statecraft buildings. Let's build a knowledge building in this region then. Okay, so we have access to support drones. Army logistics got that big boost, so I guess we may as well just grab it. +1 armor for all of our units. Rangers cost 30 manpower, so we'll be there in just a moment. I'm just going to wait here until it's available. All right, important lessons taught to us by the planet of the surface of the planet Arrakis. All right, we have the resources for another one of these buildings. Plus 20% to plasticrete production, plus 10 Solari in fully built villages. I'm pretty sure fully built means you have to have expanded it out to its full 6 building slots. So we don't have any of those yet, but, more plasticrete is more good, certainly.
We're focused.
Yeah, and we are tearing through these. So energy efficiency leads to parts production. This is all like bonuses to your mechanical units. We're not quite in that place yet, I think. Let's go into post-trauma reintegration. I wasn't planning to do so much military research early, but with this Lansraad thing having finished, I feel like we may as well get while the getting's good.
At your service, sir.
Okay. I'm going to let that last unit finish building before we head out. One of my ornithopters, the recovered one, died slowly somewhere. But, we're doing good work. We're exploring a lot. Okay, we can see the borders of... Oh, in fact, we have found the home base of House Carino. And we know exactly how they're expanding. So they're grabbing this this rare element region. Okay, we need to cut them off across here as quickly as possible.
Listening. Awaiting orders.
As you command.
It does feel like there are always, it does feel like the ranged units are always trying to be in front of the melee units, doesn't it? Alright. Reveal to me the location of another siege. Fanet. More plascrete production and, ooh, 10% Solari. So wait, where is that? That's all the way on the other side of this big crater. Interesting. Oh, it's a polar sink. Allows the construction of a water extractor. Sure, no, that seems important. The reason we lost the recovered ornithopter is that things that you didn't build usually have things that you didn't build, things you recover from the field, usually have a trait on them that prevents them from healing or being repaired, so they just get worn down over time. Okay, so elected faction is raised to a truce with everybody else, and leaving a truce diplomatically costs bonus influence. So we could force everybody to be, we could force for it to be inconvenient for everybody else to actually do military stuff to us. I don't hate that idea, honestly. And of course, being truced up with people does affect our Lansraad standing. You know what? I'm going to commit all of our influence and all of our votes on that. Let's see if we can just make that be us. That feels like a pretty hefty number to throw in, but keep in mind there's 300 votes that are going to get spread over these things in a, as far as I can tell, a more or less random way. I don't know if there is a way to affect the way the minor houses vote. So you're always fighting inscrutable whims to some extent. All right, you two run on FASEC.
Yes.
You two will follow up. That right there is spice just blows up sometimes.
Fire at will.
I know that that's a thing. I don't know what it means, what it portends.
We are ready.
Once
Charge!
again, let's have somebody commit over here to the ranged units.
At your service,
Try to
sir.
prevent them from getting their good attacks off.
On duty. Attack!
It is weird. I feel like I click on one unit and multiple units respond sometimes.
Awaiting command.
Don't know
The
why.
Duke.
Okay. I wish that it would tend to stack the unit flags in such a way that you can see the health of your units. Or just prioritize showing the health of everybody. Gets a little nerve-wracking. Oh, also we have events up and I'm not even paying attention to these. Jeez, there's so much going on. Alright, let's do one more red thing before this event ends. So, +1 agent slot in Spacing Guild information, more training slots. You might have noticed right now we can only train 2 units at a time. That hasn't been a big deal for us for the most part because the manpower requirements are overpowering everything else, but it could matter later. Alright, so let's have a look at these events. A renowned swordmaster from Ginaz is visiting your palace. You could try to convince them to join your service. If we demonstrate our worth by doing a lot of military stuff, we can just recruit them at max level. Or we can let them train our soldiers. All House Atreides military units gain bonus XP per unit recruited during the course of the event. I don't see us recruiting much more because we're so low on manpower, and we're going to use this manpower to train Harvester crew. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this reward now. 120 XP for everybody. Okay, we got some chevrons out of that. And the Herald of the Change. A Herald of the Change is visiting. His duty is to report to the Lansraad about the current event on Arrakis and ensure that you respect your ordained duty. He means the bribes. Okay. So, we can use our influence to negotiate a lower tax amount. Or we can make a big show of protecting the Herald to gain some standing in the eyes of the Lansraad. We do not have these resources right now. I don't think I'm going to do either of these. I kind of want to keep my influence committed to this event. We have continue to accumulate influence during the voting time. So let's make sure we're applying it. You can only apply votes in blocks of 10, so we'll have to wait till we get to 150 influence to apply anymore. And the good news here, good if you wanna see it that way, is that it took me such a long time to capture Facek that we have enough authority that we can just go and grab Gurmer right after. It's sort of like blunt Gray's push northward.
Listening.
We'll see how gutsy they're feeling. If they want to try to make some violence here. Okay, for sure, build a refinery. What are the traits of this village? Cheaper buildings. Gain 20 Solari per enemy unit dying in allied territory. That's pretty handy. Alright, I think as soon as we are... 108. Yeah, the cost to annex more regions goes up pretty sharply as you acquire regions.
Focus fire.
Alright, good enough for me. So water is getting low again. Yeah, we'll work on it. Okay, just select one of them. Just baffle the targeting of one of the ranged units.
Yes, sir. Atreides.
Okay, there we go. That should be easy enough. What do we have here? A black market. Okay, from which we can secure some bonus spice. I think we'll wait until after this spice tax is paid before we look at that. Oh, okay, the vote went through. We did, in fact, win that one. Interesting that the Harkonnen voted for us as well. Okay, economy development completion speed is increased. And no free Lansraad guards for players. We declined this because the minor houses felt like it was bad. Why do they do that? Who knows? They're very mysterious.
On duty. We are on
You could go grab this real quick, right? I think it should be okay. Oh no, wait, sorry, that's right. I was gonna wait for my bribe to be paid and then grab a bunch of spice. Because there's no benefit for beating the stockpile size. Like, they just take everything that's in the stockpile, I believe. Did we set up a wind trap here already? We didn't, but we should. Alright, this will help with the water situation. That's a decent amount of wind to grab. Let's also get ourselves some economic boosts. Okay, we hit 500 hegemony, or 5,000 hegemony, rather. New harvester. Let's crew it. Send it out. And we have a... I don't know. We had an ornithopter around here somewhere. You, just... First ornithopter, go get on this. I'm gonna build another one too. Let's get back up to size. Okay, so twice as much. Here we can set this down to nothing in the stockpile because we have passed the necessary stockpile size. With 2 harvesters working, we'll be meeting our stockpiles even faster. You go and grab that now. Alright, so what are the bonuses that we got for hitting 5,000? 10% Solari production while under the effects of a positive targeted resolution. 10% military power while under the effect of a negative targeted resolution. Does this count as a positive? I mean, we're definitely under the effect of a targeted resolution. I can't actually see any effects on them. Would you see it as a... Okay, yeah. Benefits of reputation might be that bonus. So I think it's treating the resolution we're under as a positive one. Makes sense to me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, somebody go get this, too. This is another harvester rack. This is a black market. That's a harvester rack. Okay. We can just find big bunches of spice on the ground. Okay, so it makes some sense to build a data center here. Bonus intel production. Right now our intel production is very poor. What would it cost for us to claim this region as well? 154. Okay, that's a project. I'm working on it. Okay, so now that we've found a bunch of spice on the ground, let's just adjust production. Okay, there we go. We can still send the vast majority of our spice to market. That's handy. All right, so yellow stuff. This will allow us to install more crew in our harvesters, unlock spice silos, and a building to improve the function of the harvesters in the capital. 10 Solari per controlled special region, plus 1% Solari per controlled special region. That's interesting. This obviously will be a lot more compelling once we actually build some fuel cell factories. Yeah, let's grab modular parts. And I still think we're just ignoring this. A request from House Carino.
Make it worth my time.
I don't really need these things. Seems like a pretty bad deal for me, honestly. I'm going to scoot across the border here and recover these lost heirlooms for some Lansraad standing. At least in parts that, you know, Carino can't do it. Alright, what else does this region want? Nothing in particular, but it just has cheap buildings, so let's build some stuff here. You know, honestly, we do still need more recruitment. Also, with this being a spot with another player right on top of it, there's something we should probably do. So we got ourselves a new agent. This agent also produces plus 20% of field resources. I kind of want to just throw them on, like, we need more authority. Actually, is this a good time to pull somebody and assign them to that siege? We're not really doing a lot of spying missions yet. I guess not. We don't need to do that. Yeah, we'll keep it as it is. Can't help but notice that our village is about to be under attack. I think these fellows have some bad intel about whether this is a good idea or not.
Awaiting command.
Hi there. Yeah, seems like a bit of a strange choice, frankly. Get ourselves a little bonus to the completion rate of some yellow technology. Okay, and we will fill in here and get the get the fuel cell thing. Yeah, we have some energy sources behind us as well, and this is like the hard edge of the map. So that one's very secure. Kind of expanding forward and blocking off other players and then filling in our own backfield gives us the ability to end up with a much higher sort of like base hegemony score from our territory than if we were to fill in this stuff from the beginning. It also makes people want to murder me and take my territory, but, you know, one problem at a time, I suppose. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a missile battery. So I said it didn't seem like it mattered where buildings were placed, and I think that's true for the most part. But missile batteries, at least, have an area of effectiveness here. We can have FASEC and this region, Germer, have overlapping defensive circles that'll make it very, very difficult for Carino to push through. That's something. We built a data center here, right? Yeah, I think generally you can only build one of each building in a place. Construction is possible in Arrakis. We're gonna have the Harvester Works available to us in just a couple of seconds here. So let's let that finish and then we'll commit those resources. And we're at 110 plus 8. I mean, this is not entirely off the table. Oh.
On duty.
It's pretty off the table if the Harkonnen get it before we can, though. Let's go ahead and recall. Let's start developing Chome integration. Unlocks the Chome branch building in Arrakis. Bonus agent slot there. We pulled bonus completion on geothermal condensers. That's not obviously a very high priority. This is headed toward Atreides Foreman, which gets us even more maximum crew on harvesters. That's nice. After successfully paying tax, every harvester with full crew gets a permanent bonus to your gather rate. And harvesters set to auto recall also auto deploy. That's pretty good. Let's head in that direction. And then also, while I'm thinking about it, let's remember to up the crew size on our various on our harvesters. Okay, hit recall on you already. Let's see if we can stop the Harkonnen from getting control of this. We might be a little bit slow to get there. Oh, also, I should remember to build the Harvester Works building. Okay, so once that's complete, we'll also have an additional 10% on all of our Solaria production. We're paying a lot of upkeeps right now, so our current production looks bad, but we'll get there. We'll fix it. Oh, damn it. I guess I didn't recall it fast enough. Okay, well, in such a case, the refinery automatically reconstructs your harvester, but it takes some time. I feel like I hit that pretty fast.
Ready.
It actually doesn't look like the Harkonnen brought enough bodies. Let's just make sure. Oh, right, I'm truced with everybody. Shoot. That is a problem, isn't it?
We're moving.
And the Harkonnen did, in fact, bring enough bodies. They know their troops better than I do.
Command.
Well, that's inconvenient. Alright, new council stuff up for vote. Reduction in building construction costs for the chosen faction. You know, we do have more total votes than any other faction, assuming everybody just goes in for themselves here. Although, of course, there is the concern of the minor houses swinging it in some kind of way. Statecraft development completion speed is increased, and also, this is a darling of the minor houses. All factions who vote for it, if it passes, will be granted bonus Lansraad standing. That's interesting. Every used command point increases Solaria upkeep of your units by 1%. This would hurt a lot. I kind of want to spend a lot of our votes saying no to this. I'm going to put all of our normal votes in on that. And just bank influence, I think. For the moment. Yep, the Harkonnen are in fact grabbing this. Well, and wow, they've stepped way outside of their boundaries. We don't see any of their stuff nearby. It'll cap Carino's growth at least. And it lets us fall back and like maybe grab this other spice region to limit Blue's expansion, although Blue's pretty far back still too. But we're at 130. Like, it is time to expand again, right? Oh, and we have raiders that we got to deal with. And is that Worm Sign? No, that's the wake of the harvester. Okay. Ugh. All right, a lot going on. I think with that, we're maybe going to call it there for this episode. Hopefully, I won't have to spend the entire next episode still explaining the basic rules of the game. I think we pretty much got it now. And now it's all about just like learning what to do with these systems and continuing to discover new things that I didn't know yet. I'm super into this game. I hope y'all are as well. When you come back next time, we're going to come up with a way of punishing the Harkonnen for stealing our very valuable water tile. And also, maybe we're going to figure out how to win this game. And we'll see you then.